I'm not really sure what she's thinking. I definitely think she has underestimated me to some extent.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. And I don't really care either.
Yeah, yeah. You're focused on yourself and not on the
Absolutely,
opponent.
yeah,
I get it, yeah. Hello and welcome back to Guts and Glory MMA. I am Paul O'D and today I am joined by Kerry-Ann Vernon, who competes against Shauna Bannon at Cage Conflict Floor this Thursday. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Excited?
Very.
So obviously this is your amateur MMA debut, and we do need to touch on your opponent, Shauna Bannon. Very credentialed striker. She is multiple-time world champion in kickboxing and an IMMAF medalist. How did it come to be that your amateur debut came against who would be considered in Ireland one of the more experienced fighters in the women's divisions?
I met Shauna up at the Irish IMMAF trials with the squad, and we had a little spa and we got on very well. So we said we'd do it for real.
There's a little bit tongue-in-cheek there about the getting on very well, but you did have a competitive spar, and I think that's what kind of sparked a little bit of interest in this fight. Am I right in saying that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's very difficult to find people to spar. So, like, you know, when you find somebody, you kind of grab them.
Yeah, someone that's on your level and someone that's going good with you.
Absolutely.
The experience that she does have. So she's look, we've mentioned her credentials, and there's a long list of credentials. Does that come into your head at all when you're going into a fight like this, or do you just look at the woman in front of you, or do you look at what her body of work previous to that?
You could look at it from both sides, I guess. Like, obviously, I'm just going to look at the girl in front of me.
Yeah.
But the fact that she has all of that, it makes it better for me. There's more to take. There's more up for grabs.
That's very true, yeah. And you kind of mentioned off air that it's win-win for you because this invaluable experience.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I couldn't think of a better place to make a debut. Like, a phenomenal arena. Like, the event is huge. Like, it's just incredible.
Very good. And you mentioned about the IMMAF trials. So if we reverse a little bit, you transitioned from, you did a little bit of boxing, you transitioned into MMA via the Wimp to Warrior program here in SPG Cork City. So how did that come about? How did the transition into MMA come to be?
So my boxing club closed down. I did a little bit of security work with Ryan Splann, the Hulk. And he actually brought SPG to my attention, and I was like, okay, you know, I'll come out there. And I was kind of looking up the gym, and I text Ryan again, and I was like, look, I said, will I get the membership or will I do the Wimp to Warrior? And he was like, do the Wimp to Warrior, just do it. And so I did the Wimp to Warrior a few times now. I'm third boot camp now, but best training in the gym.
And of course, your Wimp to Warrior was cut short, unfortunately, because of various stages of lockdown. I know my own personal experience. I did Wimp to Warrior several years ago, and that's how I kind of transitioned. Obviously, I was never going to compete past the Wimp to Warrior, but your goals are very different to mine. Did you find the Wimp to Warrior program was kind of the right way of transitioning into the sport?
Absolutely. Like, it starts from everything from the ground up, like the very, very basics.
The foundations.
And coming from a boxing background, I actually struggled with the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu at the start, like a huge amount. Like, obviously, the work has been put in now, but at the very beginning, it was the best way to start.
Yeah, and going back further still, we do need to talk about your boxing experience. You trained from a very young age in boxing, I believe.
Yeah, I come from a family of boxers, like, so I have cousins who have All-Ireland titles multiple times, almost qualifying for Olympics. I have, my uncle is actually a boxing coach down in Tipperary, and he would have coached me from a young age. I did choose soccer, eventually through
I'd say that went down well in the family.
Yeah, but I found myself kickboxing then back in UCC for a little while, and I was like, you know, really missing the martial arts, so I started boxing with a Cork organisation known as Link.
Yeah.
And it was an all-female boxing group, and we entered into, obviously, the gay games and everything, and it went very well. Yeah. Boxed internationally, took home the gold medal, got back into a boxing club, and that's when all kind of like was almost too late to kind of like compete and stuff. With the boxing, I didn't feel like I was getting the attention. Club closed down anyway, and everything lined up perfectly.
You were very modest there and slipped in, got the gold as a kind of a happenstance. But you went over to Paris with a team, and your team was very successful over there. You got several medals. I think it was 18 medals in total for the team.
I actually couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think it was 18 medals, if not more. But a very successful team, and they were competitive games that you went over. It was no joke. Like, you went over and you took on some tough talent over there, and did come home with the gold medal.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Very well set up. It was a huge event. I mean, the Olympic Stadium was huge. It was great experience. Got me used to the kind of the crowds and everything as well.
Yeah. So we fast forward again. I'm jumping all over the place here, but we fast forward. You've done the Wim to Warrior, and the lockdowns are kind of putting a stop to it, kind of every now and then. How then did you transition from there? I know it was always the goal, but how then did you transition from there to IMMAF trials? Because generally, Wim to Warrior, you'd have to add on a little bit of experience. I know you had the experience before with the boxing, but generally it's not the most natural move to jump out of Wim to Warrior and go straight for IMMAF trials. So how did that come to be?
Well, I'm clearly quite passionate about the sport. I absolutely love MMA. Like I said before, I would have kind of like struggled a bit with the wrestling and jits, but I've really like focused on those two kind of more so than the striking, because that's where I fell down.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love it. I love it. And first lockdown kind of kicked me in the teeth a bit. Gained a lot of weight, ate a lot of food. The training was still there. Never stopped training. Because
you weren't on your own. You weren't the only one to gain weight during the lockdown. Don't worry.
But no, the training is the easy part.
Yeah.
And then it was like lockdown 2 and 3. Then I was kind of thinking like the weight was gaining. I was like, it was the diet then that I said I needed to focus on mindset and diet. The two massive parts of, everyone thinks training is all about the physical part.
Yeah.
And I kind of worked on the other two aspects, which would be the mentality and the diet.
Yeah.
And I think it was when Marlene saw me going like all out with committing to every aspect of the training.
Yeah.
And there's no fear in me, so she was like, do you know what, Kerry, you deserve it. She was like, do you want to go? And she asked me, and I said, I will. Should no harm in seeking out what the level of talent across the nation is anyway. So
exactly. And those IMMAF trials, for people unaware, like, they are the elite level of competition in Ireland right now. Like, you've the very, very best of every weight class in the country competes at the IMMAF trials to get a spot on the Irish team. Now, I was at the one in Cork here, and you talk about diet and commitment, and we were having a little chat upstairs just after the session, and you passed some comment about, no, you need to be committed, you need to have a diet and all this, and I was kind of looking at you like, is that a personal jab? Or but you could tell by you that drive was there even then, and that was the IMMAF trials that you got selected for the IMMAF Worlds later this year. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're going to be competing where that's on in...
So I'm heading over to Prague for the World Cup. It's going from the 8th until the 11th of September.
Very good. And what weight class will you be competing at there? Lightweight, is it? Or featherweight?
So it was featherweight. It was originally lightweight, but because of the diet, the weight is just coming down and down. And I'm adjusting the body composition. Is featherweight, but I think I'm going to switch to bantam. Very
good. So we're going down again, that's a very competitive weight class at the IMMAFs. The bantamweight will be one of the most competitive in the women's divisions.
I want to do it.
There you go. Going back to your opponent and Shauna, obviously you've had that kind of spar before. She's recently fought, I think it was only 2 weeks ago she fought, and she broke a 2-fight losing streak with a win over in the UK. Do you think you're kind of in her head a little bit, in the sense that you did spar with her and you knew you could hang with her, and this fight came about because her ego was challenged a little bit, maybe, or because generally, obviously she's struggling to get opponents herself, but the fact that she's gone over taking a fight right before this one, do you think her ego has been challenged a little bit?
I wouldn't have said it was the wisest decision, just, in case of injuries, etc. And then, we have Worlds again very soon, which are big titles that we're going for, big medals. Again, I'm doing the same thing with her right before the Worlds, so I can't really comment there. I'm not really sure what she's thinking. I definitely think she has underestimated me to some extent.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know, and I don't really care either.
Yeah. You're focused on yourself and not on the opponent. I get it, yeah. Obviously, you have this fight and it's in Falls Park in Belfast. And I have to ask, considering you're a boxing fan, did you get to see Michael Conlan's walkout last week in Falls Park?
I didn't. I've been working up the walls, I'm afraid.
You're going to have to check out that video. As a venue, like it's nothing like I've ever seen in Ireland. Like obviously Ireland, we're used to GA halls when there's fights on, or like if it's a big event, it goes to the Tree Arena, or maybe what's the City Hotel in Dublin. But it had that kind of big fight feel. Are you excited to be at a venue like that and something that's so different?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I said earlier on, like, you know, taking on such a big event for my debut. It's a dream. It's a dream. Like I don't know. It's
an exciting one, and it's something that doesn't come around all the time. Such a big opponent, such a big venue. Do you feel like you're going to make a huge statement? Because I feel like people are going to want to remember your name after this one.
Oh,
do you feel like it's a big statement?
I'm going to make a massive statement. They have no idea what's coming.
Very good. Glad to hear it. I suppose before we do let you go, just a couple of things I want to touch on. I see you partnered with the Brogue Bar here in Cork, and they've come on as a sponsor. How did that come to be? I know you said you did a bit of bouncing, so you worked there previously. You must have a good relationship with them to say that they came on.
Yeah, they were my employers for many years, and I actually handed in my resignation with them to pursue a fight career.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, before pre-pandemic, the hours were just not lining up with my training, and I had to choose, and it was a very difficult position because I'm very lucky that I actually love my job too.
Yeah.
So I explained to them that I was only doing this in order to pursue a fight career, etc. So the managers approached me when they saw kind of things taken off, and they wanted to get fully behind me, and they're basically my full exclusive sponsors now, and they're gonna help me massively throughout my amateur career.
Excellent stuff. And you mentioned off air as well that they're going to possibly have a cardboard cutout of you, life-size cardboard cutout of you inside in the Brogue as well in Cork City.
It has been mentioned by management. Yep.
You see, I think they're coming at another angle here. For them, that's an extra unpaid member of the security team that they're going to have hung up somewhere in a corner.
Yeah, a few shots and, anything could be feasible.
Exactly. So tell me, why should we tune into your fight in particular? I believe it's on around 8 o'clock our time. So why should we tune into your fight in particular on Thursday?
Well, we know my opponent is very well established. I'm the complete underdog coming into this, and I am, like you said, I'm going to make a big statement. I'm here to take this. Like, she has everything, and I'm going to take it all away. Very
good. You're here to upset the apple cart, as it were.
Absolutely.
Very good. Do you have any shout-outs before you'd like to go, or anyone you'd like to thank in the kind of build-up to this fight? And I suppose after that, what's next other than the Worlds or the World Cup in Prague?
Well, obviously, I'm going to thank everyone here at the gym. I couldn't the SBG Cork City is the place to be. Anybody starting out in MMA, this is where it is. Like, everyone, one tribe, one vibe. They couldn't say it any better. It's a family. Everyone's jumping on board. Kevin here has been doing some incredible one-on-one kind of work with me. Ailish with the jits. All the lads off the fight team then with the wrestling. Like, Liam's always there with his advice. Mara's always there. Like, Ashton taking me on pads. There's too many. I just have to name everyone in the gym because they all just look after me so well. Like, between even Claire sitting down and doing my hair. Like, everyone. Which
we were talking about off air. I'm being educated on the difference between a French plait and a Dutch plait off air. So
and like, even one of the boys here, he did my printing for my logos and everything. Like, everyone here is just fantastic. Like, to thank everyone in the gym. Obviously, thank my sponsors and yourself here for having me on the show.
No problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure. And listen, I wish you the best of skills on Thursday. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people asking who Kerry-Ann Vernon is come Friday morning, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. We have the Worlds 3 weeks following then, and then Nationals a couple of weeks following that. And I have been called out again by another Irish girl, so that's all above in the mix.
So we'll have an exclusive on that soon, I'm sure.
We'll see. We'll take one fight at a time.
Exactly. Listen, thank you very much for coming on, and as I said, best of skills on Thursday.
Thank you.